rap it, dude, I live it then. And you can't do it, so ain't no need for mimicking. I'm not innocent, I'm on a mission, so let me finish it. Matter of time before they summon the army in. I'm probably on the FBI's most wanted list. I'm probably gonna end up hung like an ornament. I'm on a life mission to abolish all the government.
Welcome to the Muddied Waters of Freedom with your hosts, Matt Wright and Mohammed Shaker.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Vanguard For Muhammad, I've been on CNN 4 times. Shaker, this is Matt Wright. And together we are traversing the muddied waters of freedom. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man.
How are you?
And you've been on CBS a
Three
bunch
times.
of times now as of last night.
Three times now as of last night.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We will. First and foremost, we would like to thank each and every one of our sponsors. We would like to thank Bobsy Studios for helping us out with our website that you guys can visit at muddiedwatersoffreedom.com. And you can also pick up a fantastic Muddied Waters of Freedom shirt from that very same website. We would also love to thank Made Coffee out of St. Pete here. They make fantastic cold brew and nitro coffee.
Well, they made it.
Right. You're an idiot. But thank you to Mike and everybody from Made Coffee for being one of our sponsors. We would also like to thank Alu Ball for sponsoring us. So if you're trying to make kava on the go, pick up one of these. They're fantastic. We love them. And as always, we must thank Low Tide Kava Bar and, of course, Justin for the kava we will be drinking on today's show.
Bula. Hopefully this works.
I'm certain it will.
Hopefully it activates the kava that didn't work last night.
Yeah.
Not saying anything bad against our fellow namesake kava bar that I was at last night, even though none of them probably listen to this show.
Our fellow namesake. That's so funny.
We're
For anybody who doesn't know, he's talking about muddy water, kava, and tea.
Yeah, Muddy Water Kava Bar. We were there last night.
Yeah.
Everybody was depressed. We all went to Muddy Waters to be depressed together.
Right. Not saying it's a place to go when you're depressed.
Yeah.
But it helps. I'm just kidding, Brian and Kevin. I love you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have what did you do this week?
I worked a whole lot.
Yeah.
I was at work a whole lot. I mean, you know a lot about what I'm doing and stuff. But
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
right, yeah.
It's a Game of Thrones quote.
Gotcha. God, you're a nerd. I'm working on a new book, as you know.
Yeah.
And for anybody who doesn't know, I already have one out. It's called Dear Jack, Diary of an Addict. You can pick it up on Amazon.
As you're talking, everybody, I got to ask a question on paper.
That's okay. But I'm working on a new book that I'm like roughly 30,000 words into, and I'm going for about 120, so I'm about a quarter of the way done with it. So, you know, I've been writing that and spending time trying to get our business back up from the summer lull. So, you know, it's been a busy few weeks. Anyway, what's going on with you?
Oh, nothing much. I was looking for a new job.
You still on strike?
I'm still on strike from my last job
that
I'm not working at.
Right.
I might be working at a hospital again, Bayfront.
Wasn't that where you were before?
No, I work for Baycare,
which
has St. Anthony's. Bayfront is HCA, which HCA, Baycare, St. Anthony's, Bayfront. So, but
yeah. I mean, when you live here, everything is named Bay.
Yeah.
Everything's named Bay,
yeah.
so it's...
Yeah.
And that's not B-A-E, that's B-A-Y.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So for everybody, we're going to be at a show later tonight. This is going to be a light show for everybody. We're going to talk about everyone's favorite things, like Kratom and economics, which is my only favorite thing. Somebody told Matt the other day that I talk too much, basically.
Actually, people tell me that
Screw
all
you.
the time. People tell me that all the time.
If
It was just this one surprised me because of who said it.
Well, if you think so, don't watch the show.
Because he is going to go off. Muhammad's going unfiltered later. So if you're not a fan of listening to Muhammad go on very long soliloquies,
I'm trying to dumb it down. I'm trying to dumb myself down.
Sorry. I also forgot. Sean Simpson just reminded me of this. I also wrote a new screenplay for a 30-day horror challenge.
Oh.
And it's a 7-minute movie that's a horror movie. And in it, Adam Freeman is basically going to be the running double because he made me angry one day, and I said I was going to write a script in which all he did was run because Adam doesn't run except from the police. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make him run a whole lot. So in the script, it's about this guy that's literally running for the entire time.
So Tom Cruise.
What?
It's something I read. Like,
Tom Cruise runs in every movie.
Yeah,
yeah, he's got that slow motion run scene in every single movie.
Tom Cruise will make you watch him run.
Yeah, yeah. I just feel like that needs to be set to a Coldplay song and just put all of them back to back to back.
Yep. And man, I'm forgetting all my actors, even ones I grew up with. Forrest Gump guy. Can't believe I forgot his name.
Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks, yeah. Tom Hanks will make you watch him piss. Because he does that in like half his movies at a critical point of the movie, too. It's like, yeah.
I never realized that before, but I'm going to have to go back through the Tom Hanks filmography and find out how accurate that is.
Yeah.
But I can think of 3 off the top of my head that he does go to the bathroom in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense.
Yep.
All right, first and foremost, let's start off with, because we got to make this one kind of quick because we're running a little behind in order to get to Orlando.
Yeah.
Let's start off with, did you know I was on CBS last night?
No.
Well, I was on CBS last night.
Cool.
Yeah. Hear how obnoxious that sounds?
Yes.
Good. But I was on CBS last night because it came out back in July. Somebody... This kid, not really a kid, he was like 24.
In Hillsborough, where right across the water,
right across the bay,
yeah,
right across the bayfront. He passed away, and the toxicology report came back, and the toxicology report came back saying that he died from intoxication of kratom. And since I manage one of the, if not the most successful kava bar in Pinellas County,
Good thing Ken's asleep.
He's gonna come running out. That's not true. But they called us and asked if we wouldn't mind giving an interview. To which I immediately said, "Yeah, absolutely. Come on down." Because who doesn't want this face on TV? And so they came out. They came out and did an interview. It was a great interview.
Frank says you did good. Frank, one of our listeners.
Oh, thank you, Frank. I do appreciate it. Jean-Luc says that you need to be tickled.
No.
So do you want me to listen to all of our guests?
Nope.
No? Okay. So they came out to interview me. It was a really friendly interview. He was just kind of asking my opinion on things, and it wasn't combative or, threatening in any way. And the guy did a great job, in my personal opinion. And the story came out, and I felt that it was pretty fairly balanced. They didn't seem to pick a side one way or the other.
Yeah. They reported the news.
Right. They reported the news as they were supposed to. When I was talking to the guy when he left, super nice guy, he was saying that it was a very positive experience that he had. And I was like, well, that's good. I appreciate that. And he said, looking around, these people, they don't seem like they have problems, or they don't seem like... Wow. They don't seem like, it's an issue for them. They just seem like people hanging out.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what it is. Because this was a really great experience. Everybody was very open. Nobody was really closed off. They were happy to talk about it.
Yeah, and actually last week, a few days ago, I told you about it when I was talking about not our Macy here, the Macy that used to hang out here.
The one up in Tally?
Yeah, she's one of the bartenders at Kavakazi. One of my Liberty Movement friends, he works for an organization called CFACT, which is Collegians for a Constructive Tomorrow, and it's a free market environmentalism group. But they basically do a lot of their activism, as in they believe that the free market would have better solutions for the environment than the government would be able to. But a lot of people in the movement, I'm sure. Some of my friends may have asked you, but all the people in the movement always ask me, what's Kava? What's Kratom? What's Kratom? So, yeah, he finally went to Kavakazi and, checked it out. And it was funny that he ran into one of my friends working up there that I know from here. And he liked the experience there. He thought it was super awesome that, and he's I don't know he's more like me, conservative-ishy, even though I hate using that word because then people are like, oh, Muhammad's a conservative. But anyways.
Right, because the other night when we were hanging out, you said, I have never once called myself a conservative.
Yeah, now I'm just owning it, though.
Yeah, and today you literally just now said,
yeah.
conservative-ishy.
Yeah.
Because you won't admit it. But
yeah. Not a hippie, fine.
Right, yeah.
He's not really a hippie. He's a bearded Southern man that has an accent and drinks alcohol.
Aren't most Southern men bearded?
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went there, he hung out, and he had a lot of fun, and that's really how it is in the environment. But this young man in Hillsborough, he's 27. His name's Christopher Weldon, and passed away. We mentioned in July, and now the story is breaking. And
well, that's because that's how long the toxology reports have to come back.
Yeah,
because I'm certain they probably did multiple toxology reports.
Yeah,
because since he had issues in the past. Like, I don't want to air all of his dirty laundry, but since he had issues in the past, they probably went through a series of different toxology reports to try to figure out what was wrong with him. And there were other things that came up. He had a couple of different medical issues, and he did have a history with some of the stuff that I also had a history with. And somebody told him Kratom may be the way to go, so he was trying it. But he was taking extracts that he purchased either online or from a head shop or a gas station or something. I'm not really sure where he got it from. And while I don't particularly have a problem with extracts, I would want to know what goes into it. And the way that I see it personally is that if the packaging doesn't say what goes into it, or the person behind the counter can't tell you what is in it, don't buy it. Do not buy it. Like, you have no idea what is in that package.
Yeah.
So don't buy it. Like, that's why when I was asked that question last night when I was on CBS, yeah, that's me making fun of you every time I say that.
I mean, I think it's cool you're on CBS. I really want to be your friend right now.
But anytime when they asked me that question last night, and I said, here I know where everything that goes into our drinks, I know what every ingredient is, and I can tell you what it is. If they can't tell you everything that goes into it, don't buy it, because you don't know what you're taking.
Yeah. And
even though his passing is an absolute travesty and it's awful, and I feel for his entire family.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I feel for his entire family. There's a small amount of personal responsibility that has to be held here. And
well, I mean, I think there's a whole lot of it, actually, in my own opinion.
Well, so I think he was trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, he was.
Right, he was trying to do the right thing, and he was trying to get his life back, and he was trying to clean up, and he was trying to, not be addicted to the opiates and all that kind of stuff. And he heard that Kratom was going to help. And he, so there was personal responsibility being used there because he was trying to clean up. And then because he didn't inquire on how much he should take or how, what was in what he was going to be taking, I think something bad happened.
So extracts are more potent? Russell's asking.
Yes, extracts are definitely more potent.
Yeah. And my fellow medical coworker Jacqueline says cyclobenzapine. Oh yeah, that's a
it's a muscle relaxer.
Yes, it is a muscle relaxer.
And the
citalopram is an antidepressant. I used to be on that. Yeah. In the army, are known to have interactions with each other, and both are found in the system. Yeah, so he's had a lot of medical problems, and it's hard to tell what's going on. I assumed the mother had something against Kratom, because I even thought I read that in one of the articles, but then you were saying no, not really.
Okay, so from what I understand, is she, and I respect the hell out of her for this. One, it's got to be tough she lost her son 2-3 months ago, whatever that is. And so, it's the easy way to go about blaming a substance. It's just easy. And it doesn't seem like she's doing that so much because she was like, I don't want kratom to be banned. I think it could help, but they should know what's in it. And I agree with that.
Unlike the last few deaths that have happened that may be related to kratom, where people are like, ban it.
Right, exactly.
And so, like, yeah, I mean, I saw the obituary page, and I guess it seems I have friends that are friends with the guy, and he has problems just like I have problems. My problems are different. Mine are, depression and all that. But he legitimately, and I'm not trying to air his laundry. This is legitimate to the story. The young man has a serious addiction problem. Had a serious addiction problem.
Still does. I mean, you don't get rid of it. It's just you learn to control it or you don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't. That's why I said he did. He's gone, right?
Well, good point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
You are correct.
Good point, though.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. That's what I was like, what? But yeah, like he does have problems, and like my point is, like, if kratom didn't kill him, something else. Something else was gonna kill him. It didn't have to be kratom. It could have been anything else.
Which sounds so callous to say.
It does.
It does. But
I
mean,
I'm sorry, that's the truth.
Right. And
I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just.
This
is mainly for a lot of my friends that are all like jumping up and down for like super hardcore regulations and like you need to do this and that, and we have to make the government do this and that. Specifically, since we're here to talk about this, like, one of my friends was arguing that wouldn't it be neat if we knew how much, how many milligrams, it goes milligrams or grams of the stuff in the kratom, how by the tea.
Okay, so
grams, right?
Well, if we do it, if we're doing it by so when we get the tea, it's going to be by grams.
Yeah,
because you're going to be using the whole powder.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You're going to be using the whole powder as opposed to the extracts where it's going to be in milligrams. But the milligrams are going to be light years stronger than just one simple gram of just regular kratom.
Yeah, but yeah, she was like, wouldn't it be neat if we knew how much kratom, how many grams of kratom are used in Mad Hatter's tea versus low tide tea? And I said yes, but not by forcing the government to do it. I think you should be a good customer and make that known and get the rest of the customers on board. But so far, up till now at least, nobody seems to care about how many grams are going in there. We're all still drinking it anyways. Their kratom, if you haven't seen it, watch the video. It's on our page. You see it, like, and when I worked the 2 days there, like, kratom is served.
You're basically an expert.
Out of an unlabeled bucket.
It's labeled. All of our buckets are labeled. Don't say that's illegal. So all of our buckets are labeled.
Well, anyways, it's served out of this bucket into a cup. Nobody asked any questions. What do you want? Kratom. Okay, what type?
What kind?
Green Borneo with agave. Well, here's your green Borneo. You're on the other side, and I'm like handing you this green water thing that I just threw some syrup in.
Right.
And you're trusting me. And you're trusting the owner or whatever. So nobody's forcing you to buy this stuff. And if you have a problem, you can make it known, and you can be like, hey, I want to know how much what you're putting in this stuff. And either they can tell you, and good on them, or they won't, good on them. But you can just take your business elsewhere. And like, if they see a big enough movement, there's a lot of kava bars here.
Right.
If they see a big enough movement of people that really want to know what the hell is being put in the drinks, some other kava bars will start, maybe half of them will start making it public what their process is and telling you how much exact product is in those drinks. And then you can take your business there. You don't have to get your business here, and nobody here owes you their business either. Like they don't have to sell you anything. You go somewhere else, because you can do the same thing.
Right. And like, I don't know a lot about this kid's life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know his experiences.
No, me neither.
Right.
I'm not even.
Right. No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying you are. I'm just going to make a comparison to mine. So like, I've talked about my addiction problems on the show before, and like, when we had Adam Freeman on the show, we were talking about how I was 3 years sober from alcohol. So I hadn't done anything for 3 years, huge milestone. Like, I never thought that I would say that in my life. But now I've begun to see that other things in my life have kind of taken that same place. And as an addict, you have to be able to notice these things about your life and how you can try to stop it from taking over. And these could be, some people switch it out for food, or some people switch it out for, kava, kratom, whatever. People switch it out for sex, for whatever. Like, you can get pretty much addicted to anything, because it's just a part of your brain that clicks on, and it's like, okay, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, to a point that it's basically unhealthy for you.
Yeah, but some substances do have physical addictions too. No, but the mental mental portion is the one that drives it and starts it to begin with.
True. And it's like that. I mean, that being aside, if you do have an addiction problem, which I'm assuming this guy did, just based on everything I've read, and if you are a person with an addiction problem, you have to be able to notice the signs that what you're doing is addictive behavior. And when you start to notice the addictive behavior, you have to try to break it. You have to try to break the cycle. And I'm wondering, and again, I don't know about him, but I'm wondering if he started out low and only taking like a little bit, and then he started taking more and more and more to try to get the same feeling that he got when he first tried to take it, and eventually he took enough that it counteracted with the other stuff in his system, and that's what ended up happening. And no matter what, like, there is help out there for anybody who has addiction problems. If you are listening to the show, you can message us at Muddied Waters of Freedom on Facebook, and I'll be happy to talk to you whenever you want, because I've gone, I still go through it. And it's still tough. I still have to call my sponsor pretty regularly about things that break me down. So, I mean, if you ever need help, I'm happy to help anybody out there. Just because I understand it, and I don't want you to go through the same stuff that I'm going through. But no matter what, like, this kid's passing is awful. Like, I feel bad for his entire family.
Yeah. And of course.
Yeah, I respect the hell out of that. That's absolutely amazing that she's not blaming the kratom, unlike that kid from a few years ago. And I just really, truly respect it and appreciate the fact that she sees that it could be something else was in there, or, since there were no directions on how to properly use it. I respect that. And I hope that companies would start to see that and start putting that on the labels. I don't think we need government regulation to say that they need to do it. And if you go into a place and you're like, oh, this one doesn't say how to use it, don't buy it. Do not buy it. Go to a person that knows what's going into the kratom, and just use that. And that's just the way I see it. Is you can use this stuff very safely with zero issue.
Oh, definitely.
With zero issue, just by being kind of on top of it and saying, oh, okay, well, don't use that because it doesn't have it doesn't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people commenting right now about what they use kratom for.
Yeah. And also to self-correct myself, yes, I know, because I don't want you to get in trouble either. They are labeled. I know they are. What I meant to say is, this stuff is inexpensive for us to drink it, I guess, because of how cheap these businesses are ran. So yeah, I know they're labeled, but the what I meant to say was the containers are these they're these unlabeled containers. You label them yourself,
right?
But
Yes.
which
But
you
that's
know
'cause we make
which
it
to
there.
which to some people that may be crazy. Like, well, what's in that thing? Even though it's labeled anyways. Like,
Right.
so it should have came labeled. Like,
Yeah, it's not something
Yeah.
that's prepackaged.
Yeah.
We make it there.
yeah, which was still my point. Like,
Right.
people trust that business. I don't know, the first few people that went to the first OB and then here, right? Because here is probably a whole different crowd. The first people that came here to Low Tide, that maybe didn't know anything about it, they still trusted that this was an okay thing and voluntarily, without anybody telling them, came in, put their money down and tried it and didn't die.
Right.
And that still seems to be the case, where a bunch of people still come and drink this stuff.
I mean, when I first tried it, it was a little over 3 years ago. I was still drinking alcohol at the time, and I didn't know what it was. Somebody just said, "You need to try this stuff," and this probably also will show you how I became such an addict. If somebody says, "You need to try this," I would say, "Okay." I never asked, "What is it?"
Yeah.
Didn't care. I was like, Mike, do you know who Michael Ian Black is? He's a comedian. He's in like Wet Hot American Summer, and he was in the comedy troupe Stella and The State and stuff like that. Funny dude. And he's got a joke, and he's like, I was the guy that you would go, "Here, take this," and I would, and then I would say, "What was that?" And that was kind of me. And there's a joke that Adam Freeman always says. He goes, "I'll try anything twice."
Yeah.
I was also, I would try anything twice.
Yeah.
Because it was, maybe the first time, you weren't like in the right headspace to do
Yeah.
it. So I would try anything twice.
And actually, in direct comparison to what you just said, Frank says he researched it for 2 years before he used it.
Right.
So,
exactly. And, completely opposites. Like somebody said, "Try this." I said, "Okay." And I drank it and I was like, "Whoa, that's,
Yeah.
I like that stuff."
Yeah.
That stuff's pretty cool.
Yep.
And,
But my problem is, I don't know why people think. Why should that be government regulated behavior to tell people what they can and can't go on their own and try?
and it shouldn't be.
The hell?
And it
half
shouldn't
of these people that talk about this stuff smoke marijuana. How the hell do you know what the hell you're getting right now? That shit ain't regulated and it ain't labeled.
No.
And you're worrying about everybody else's businesses being labeled. Like I have no problem against labels and regulations. I just think sorry to trigger half of you people listening. Like I think the free market should do that themselves, which they can. And I've talked about that multiple times, so I'm not gonna bore Matt with it again. But yeah,
I'd be more worried about boring our listeners.
But I got addiction problems. I love nicotine. I love blondes, but I need an intervention on both of those things.
No, you don't. You're fine.
Okay. But anyways,
But yeah, so I mean, if you're out there, if you haven't tried Kratom, or if you're thinking about trying Kratom, go to a reputable place. Go to a place like Low Tide or Grassroots or Muddy Water, and check them out. That's not like us. Don't come to my house, but Muddy Water, Kava and Tea. But go there and find out what what it is that they're using in it, because they'll be happy to tell you. They'll tell you how they make it, and that way you know what you're getting. And that's the important part. You want to know what you're putting in your body, as opposed to just doing what I always did and saying, "Here, try this." Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that? Oh, that was crystal meth. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, this is going to be a strange 24 hours. But yeah, know what you're putting into your body. It's important to know these things, and it falls on you, just not even as a consumer, but just as a person, to find these stuff out, because I think you want to survive.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't, then whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and also like one of the things I was telling him is, and I'm sure you guys will understand this one, like alcohol's very regulated. They have to post the percentage of alcohol per drink if we're gonna go by 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, and is it a shot of alcohol? Is that how that works?
Well, it can be.
Yeah.
So like in a full beer, you're going to have somewhere between 3.8 and, depending on whatever it is, roughly 5.2.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a huge craft beer. Then it'll be higher. But 3.8 to 5.2%.
Yeah.
Liquor is going to be in a shot is going to be the same amount of alcohol in a 12-ounce beer. A glass of wine, a 6-ounce glass of wine is going to have the same amount of alcohol as a shot or a 12-ounce beer.
That's why I'm mentioning all that, because you'll have people, and it's very obvious what alcohol does. Everybody knows what alcohol does because we see it on movies, we see it on in our lives with our family members, and people will drink a lot of alcohol, a lot of liquor, for example, in the same amounts as some people do beer, and get fucked up, and then some people get their stomachs pumped. We came back from my deployment in Iraq, and we had a sergeant major. That's the highest enlisted rank that you can pretty much be in the military. So he's probably been in for a minimum of 20 years, probably more. The weekend or something, we came back in the middle of the week, I think. We came back. This sergeant major went on his motorcycle drunk and died. He survived Iraq and then died a few days later in the United States.
That's awful.
If somebody's got a problem, it doesn't matter whether it's labeled or not. Nobody looks at the alcohol content before deciding if they're going to drink it or not. The only time, in my opinion, somebody does that, because that's how I've seen it, is people see if it's enough alcohol, basically.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't want something that they're going to have to drink too much of when they can just, get something that they can, Anyways, you get where I'm going with all this. So I'm not against labeling. I don't think labeling was going to help this gentleman.
No, absolutely.
If it was already implemented.
And I know about the dangers of alcohol. I've had enough of it for probably about 14, 15 people for a lifetime, because I used to drink a lot. And even after I got my DUI, I still was drinking heavily. And there was one point that, I saw that I had a problem, but I didn't care.
And that's, your fault.
Agreed. Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. It's not the alcohol's fault. It's my fault. I could have been oh, sorry, I'm not going to party with you 7 days a week. But I still did. And, there was this one night, and this is probably the luckiest thing that has ever happened to me in my life. 100%. And I don't talk about this often, but I'll talk about it here for you and everybody watching and listening.
Ooh.
I know. I went to my friend Proby's house for a party. It was a Friday night, and they did a house party every Friday night. And so I went over there. His real name's Nate Faulkner. His name's not really Proby.
Is this in
Nashville?
Oh, you're so lucky.
I know. So I would go there every Friday night. He's actually getting married in a few weeks, and I'll be up there. Yeah, I know. So I'll be.
Can I get to know Nick real quick, or Nate, or whatever
Nate?
the fuck his name is?
You can, yeah, sure. I don't care. But I'm going to his wedding at the end of October, and so we were hanging out, partying, whatever, and he was always really worried about me leaving because of the level of drunk I would get. And so I started to have to sneak out of the parties so that way he wouldn't try to stop me. And so I was leaving, and I had made this drive easily 100 times at this point. Easily. And I was like, okay, so it was only 2 roads to my house. It was a ways. One of the roads you were on for a while. And so I was driving home, and I was like, okay, stop sign, stop. Go to the next one, stop sign, stop. Go to the next stop sign, stop. And I got to the next intersection, and I thought that there should be a stop sign there. But there wasn't. It was a stoplight. And so I looked, and I saw no stop sign, so I just kept going. I was really drunk, so...
But you stopped, right?
No.
But you stopped, right?
No.
Oh.
I did not. And so I'm driving, and I'm coming across the intersection, and there was this big truck. I think it was red, but my memory could be off. I just remember it being a big truck.
It's always a big truck.
It's always a big truck.
A big red truck.
So this big truck comes, who has the right of way because they've got a green light, is going across the...
No one's going to tickle me. I don't even know who this person is that's even asking for it.
Don't pay attention to that.
Sorry.
I've been ignoring it, obviously, because you haven't been tickled. So this big truck comes, they have got the right of way, so they go across. I blast through this red light. And I remember seeing the truck as it was passing me. And I remember looking to my left, and as I passed, I could have reached out and touched the license plate. And it scared the ever-living crap out of me. And I got home, and I immediately cracked 2 beers and drank them simultaneously. Literally, I did. It was one in one hand, one in the other, and I was just going like this. It scared the crap out of me. So after that, anytime I went there, I gave him my car keys, and if I wanted to go home, I just grabbed a cab. Because I didn't want to risk that again, because I don't trust myself to stop when I know I need to. And I also know I don't like crashing on people's couches. I like to crash at my house. So, even though that could have been really bad and I could have, killed a bunch of people. I don't know how many people were in that truck, but I could have killed people and all of that. It scared me. So it was, it was my own decision after that to be like, okay, either you need to stop drinking so much or you need to start taking cabs. Yeah. And so I went with the taking cabs.
Yeah. I don't even have a crazy story like yours, but and kava is definitely not an addictive substance. After that one time, some people know about this. A few months ago, so you guys, half the people watching drink kava, and I'm sure the other half know what we're talking about. I drank way too much kava for 2 days in a row, and it was Lotide's birthday, and the day after, I hung out at Bula Cafe, and after that night, I drank so much, especially that night at their birthday, anniversary thing here. And then over there, I face planted and my glasses broke, my face got fucked up. And then 3 days later, I did. Yeah, 3 days later, I sort of did it again at Low Tide. But it was because that was a Wednesday from what I remember. And I was hanging out Saturday with Joe. So yeah, my buddy Joe had to walk me around. That's how muddy I was, and I don't get that muddy anymore. And no one's ever seen me that muddy ever since. Because I had to decide, whoa, dude, you don't. I thought I don't make myself look good doing that. Just getting muddy like that and not being able to control myself. It's cool. It's funny. Nobody really cares. But it was more of a self-respect thing for me.
Right.
And because I used to also drive muddy, which isn't as dangerous as driving drunk, but it's still not as safe, I guess.
Right.
But yeah.
Anyway, so remember, if you're buying Kratom, or actually, if you're buying anything, know what's in it.
Oh, I did want to say another thing about that. Extension of what he is about to say, just because something is fucking labeled, excuse my language, just because something is labeled doesn't mean it's safe either.
You have never apologized for that once.
Well, Sean's watching.
Sean doesn't. Sean cusses more than anybody I've ever met.
Well, I don't know.
Wait,
it seems like there's a lot of people watching this show right now.
We have 3 Seans watching right now, so I don't know which
Your
one.
boss.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he cusses more than anybody I've ever met.
Okay.
So he doesn't care.
But yeah, also, it's also really stupid to just think just because something is labeled and has a printed, what am I trying to say here? Stuff in here. Ingredients. Just because ingredients are printed and because it's labeled doesn't mean it's safe either. Like, don't fool yourself about that.
No. Absolutely not. So know what you're putting into your body. It's very important, and it's really that lies upon you to find out. Hopefully businesses will take the initiative to put all of the ingredients on. If for any reason you don't think that somebody is, don't buy their product. If they can't tell you every single thing that's in there, don't buy it. Absolutely do not buy it. That way you can be safe. Because it's your life, and you probably want it to continue.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's all we really have on the Kratom thing. Again, our hearts go out to the family of that young man who passed away.
Mm-hmm.
But again, please just take the initiative to learn what is in it, so that way you can be as safe as possible. Anyway. You wanted to talk about Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but I'm not even going to... We can make this a short show because it's almost 4 o'clock.
I was going to say, yeah, we are going to have to go pretty soon. But so just real quick, go over the Jones Act.
Yeah, so President Trump did a temporary waiver of the Jones Act for Puerto Rico, which I also think may have been temporary waived during some of the big hurricanes this year. And for... pretty much everybody that's not going to know this other than me. Well, let me see. No, I don't think anyone. Anyway, the Jones Act, basically, it states that any shipping between United States ports, which Puerto Rico would have United States ports,
yes,
has to be done by United States ships only. They waived it. And I think waiving it makes the argument against this sort of economic control. Like, so this is what in economics, or at least from a capitalist point of view, this is what we call a protectionist policy. Protectionism meaning this sort of policy protects whatever it's affecting, some native industry or company from foreign competition. So this affects shipping companies in the United States by disallowing ships with foreign flags from conducting this transportation between the ports. Well, they waived it because they need more ships to move a lot of things a lot faster. Yes, because there's a hurricane. But the reason this exists to begin with is because the United States, some of these companies probably would have a really hard time and not even exist without this thing. So they're forcing the companies in our country, so non-shipping companies, are being, and even the rest of the global market has to basically do business with shipping companies in the United States to ship these things in between the ports. There's not enough stuff going in. They get rid of it. Now any ship can move stuff in and out of these ports, probably for a lot cheaper, even if it's a dinky wooden boat with a Iraqi flag on it. Like, it's a guy moving stuff around. He can do it now. It doesn't matter. Well, never mind. Depending on what regulation allows that. I'm sure he needs to have like a life vest or something. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, look up the Jones Act and educate yourself a little bit about it. And if you have any questions, I wouldn't mind answering them. But the Jones Act, basically,
I was just going to say, and if you have any questions about any of the stuff you see on this show, you can message us at Muddied Waters of Freedom on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to talk to one of us personally, you can find him on his page at, is it Muhammad Shaker or Bro Hamid?
No. It's Mohammed Shaker.
It's Mohammed Shaker. Yeah. He's got a page, Mohammed Shaker, and then you can find me at Matt Wright Author on Facebook.
Yeah, but no, it's silly. It's like just think of all these boats that could be moving stuff around, but now we're not letting them because these American companies would not exist. That's always the argument we hear, like, we can't compete with them. Well, so what? I mean, being forced to pay these higher fees and having less ships moving things around the country through the ports means we, the consumer, pay more. So at the end of the day, we're actually a lot less wealthy because we have to pay so much more for American United States transportation to handle it, rather than just letting whoever handle it. Just let other people figure out how they want to do it, you know? Let the Mexicans do it, you know? Let them... Doesn't have to be us, basically. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste any more time on this specific topic because we're out of time.
Right. So we are actually leaving. We're
1 day.
Not even. So we're actually going to go to low tide to pick up stuff to take with us. But after that, we're going to be heading out to Orlando to see the professor, Mr. Tom Woods. If you do not know who Tom Woods is, follow him on his podcast. It's fantastic. It's, in my personal opinion, the second best podcast available to you. The first one obviously being us. But he is doing his 1000th episode special tonight, and we were asked to come. We were personally invited by Tom Wood's wife, or whatever. And
You're making the same mistake I am.
yeah, I know. So we're going to be heading out there. Check out Tom Woods. He is fantastic. And also, because Muhammad really wants me to announce this.
No, because I understand what you said about the event itself on Facebook, but I think it's okay to start telling people right now.
Okay. So on December...
Because this will not be the reminder. Like, the reminder will be the event itself.
Right, no, true. So on December 2nd, it will be our 1-year anniversary of doing the greatest podcast known to man. So we are going to be doing a great show. We're going to be doing it live from Grassroots Kava House in downtown St. Pete. We are going to have it open. We're going to have a live studio audience. We've got guests coming in.
Yeah.
We've got a guy, actually the creator of Alu Ball. He is going to be coming in and making kava for us. I hope. He said he was really going to try to do that, so I really hope that happens now. And we've got some people coming. We've got a guest coming down from Ohio who's been on our show before. The voice of the Muddied Waters is going to be coming down. We've got the voice of the Muddied Waters coming down.
There's our music.
We may have musical guests. Anyway, it's going to be a huge event. So if you're in the St. Pete area, even if you're not in the St. Pete area right now and you want to come down for it, come down. We'd love to have you. And then we're going to do a panel Q&A session at the end where you can ask us questions about libertarianism. And
it'll probably be like a educational, wide scope, very general show about libertarianism itself, which every single show I think we've done has been about a current event.
Yeah.
So
we've pretty much stuck to current events. But yes,
unless something like super big happens and I get a letter in the mail before the show telling me I have to go to North Korea, then we might.
That's fine.
We might talk current events.
We'll still do the show if he's gone.
Yeah.
We'll still do the show if he's not around. But anyway, thank you all for listening so much. We do appreciate it. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Muddied Waters of Freedom, or you can find us on Instagram at Muddied Waters of Freedom, or you can follow us on Twitter at Muddied_Waters. Again, thank you, Low Tide Kava Bar, for the kava we drank during the show. Thank you, Justin.
Get your shells ready. Sean's watching, I think. So.
Sean, Adam, Frank. We got so many kava drinkers drinking or here right now.
We hope you're drinking.
We hope you're drinking. So if you are, shells up. Bula. Again, thank you all so very much. Please please share, please tell your friends about us. And if you just feel like giving us $20 for no reason, please give us $20 for no reason. Because I could use $20 right now.
I got that.
You want to give me $20?
No.
I didn't think so.
All right, guys. All right. Thank you for joining us. And as always, remember, where we're going.
We don't need roads.
What the fuck was that?